Your past doesn't define you. How you face it does. Think about that for a second. You've worked hard to move on, you've healed, you've learned, you've grown. Life finally feels peaceful again, until one day someone drags your past back into the light. Maybe it's an old friend, a family member, or even someone you once loved. They say it casually. Remember when you messed up? But their tone cuts deeper than the words. Suddenly, that old shame rushes back like a ghost you thought was gone. And what's your first instinct? To defend yourself. To prove you've changed. To say, that's not who I am anymore. But here's the truth. The more you explain, the more power you give them. Every word becomes a thread they can pull to control your emotions. The Stoics understood this thousands of years ago. They believed your peace isn't lost when others attack you. It's lost the moment you let them decide who you are. A Stoic doesn't fight the accusation. He doesn't try to erase the past. He simply stands in calm acceptance, because he knows that power doesn't come from changing someone's opinion, but from mastering his own reaction. So when someone brings up your past, don't flinch, don't defend. Just breathe, and remember, your past is not your prison. The first Stoic response is simple, yet disarming. Yes, that happened. Most people panic when the past is thrown at them. The ego wants to deny, to erase, to prove we're no longer that person. But here's the paradox. The moment you resist, you give that memory power. You let it define you all over again. The Stoic takes a different path. When someone says, I remember when you failed that job, or you were the reason that relationship fell apart, the Stoic doesn't argue. He simply looks them in the eye and says, yes, that happened. No excuses, no guilt, no defense. Just calm truth. Why does that hit so hard? Because it removes the weapon they're trying to use. People who bring up your past aren't searching for truth. They're searching for control. They want to see you squirm, to justify, to shrink. But when you own your story, they lose their grip. Seneca once wrote, there's nothing more noble than standing before your faults and saying, yes, I did that, and I learned from it. The moment you accept your past without shame, you turn it from a cage into armor. No one can use it against you anymore, because you've already faced it and conquered it. The second Stoic response is this: I've learned from it. That single sentence turns your past from a chain into a compass. When people bring up your mistakes, they want to trap you in who you were. They say you failed, you lost, you were wrong. But what they don't realize is that every scar you carry has already become your teacher. You're no longer that person. You're the one who survived them. Think of it this way. A sword is forged through fire. Every blow, every crack, every moment in the flames, that's what makes it sharp. Your life works the same way. The cracks in your past aren't signs of weakness. They're where the light gets in. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison. He could have let bitterness define him, but instead he said, I do not hate them. I learned that true freedom begins within. That's the Stoic spirit. When someone mocks your failure, you don't react, you transform it. When they question your right to speak about love, after heartbreak, you smile and say, because I've been broken, I finally understand what love really means. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, every obstacle is an opportunity to practice virtue. So when they try to stain you with your past, let that stain become your signature. You are not your mistakes. You are what you've made of them. The third Stoic response is this: why are you bringing this up now? It's not a defense. It's not an attack. It's a mirror. When someone digs up your past, they want to control the story, to make you react, to see you flinch. But when you calmly ask that question, the roles reverse. Suddenly, they're the ones under the light. You've stopped being the accused and become the observer. No anger, no sarcasm, just genuine curiosity. Because that calmness is what a manipulator can't stand. They expect you to fight, to justify, to get emotional. But when you stay still, when your voice stays steady, they're forced to confront something they weren't ready for, their own motives. If they meant well, they'll pause, reflect, maybe even apologize. But if they came to hurt you, they crumble beneath the weight of their own intention. Epictetus once said, the one who harms others is already in pain. They bring up your past because they can't face their present. So the next time someone tries to use your history against you, don't give them outrage, give them a question. Because when you ask, Why are you bringing this up now? You've already taken back the power. Your calmness becomes armor. Your silence becomes strength. Silence is not weakness. In Stoic philosophy, silence is power, the highest form of control. When someone tries to provoke you, every impulsive reaction you give becomes a gift, a sign that they still own a part of you. Seneca once said, "The one who angers you conquers you." You might win the argument, but you lose your peace. You might strike back with words, but you hand away your composure. In a noisy world, where everyone is shouting to be right, the one who stays silent stands tallest. Because silence doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you've mastered how to respond. Someone once told me, "You never react. That makes people afraid of you." And I smiled. I said, "I don't need them to fear me. I just need peace within myself." That's the heart of Stoicism, peace over pride. When you no longer need to explain or defend, you become untouchable. No one can drag you into the mud unless you step down willingly. And if they judge you, let them. Epictetus once asked, "If someone calls you a donkey, do you check a mirror?" Of course not, because you know who you are. That's real freedom, to be so rooted in yourself that no insult, no reminder, no opinion can shake your calm. Every one of us carries an old version of ourselves. The one who made mistakes, the one who didn't know better, the one who fell hard and got back up. And that version, as imperfect as it was, built the person you are now. A man who once battled addiction can now guide others to freedom. A woman who once faced betrayal can now teach forgiveness. Someone who failed in business can now mentor others to succeed. That's how pain transforms. Not by erasing the past, but by redeeming it. The Stoic doesn't deny his darkness. He walks through it with his eyes open. Because light isn't found by running from the shadows, it's found by understanding them. Your scars aren't proof of your weakness. They're proof you've healed. Every failure, every heartbreak, every loss, they were classrooms in disguise, teaching you strength, compassion, and patience. When you embrace those lessons, your past no longer holds power over you. It becomes your foundation. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." That's what turning darkness into light means. You stop seeing your history as something to hide and start seeing it as something sacred. Because without your darkness, you'd never understand the depth of your own light. People will try to use your past to pull you down, not because you're weak, but because your growth reminds them of what they could have become. When you rise, you become a mirror, and not everyone is ready to face their own reflection. They don't attack you because you're broken. They attack because you've healed, because your peace threatens their chaos. That's the paradox of life. The more you find your calm, the more you expose the storms in others. So remember 3 things. First, acknowledge your past without shame. It's not a curse, it's your teacher. Second, turn every mistake into a lesson, not a life sentence. And third, ask questions instead of reacting. Let your calmness show them who truly holds the power. That's how a Stoic wins, not through noise, not through defense, but through dignity. You don't need to fight to prove you've changed. Those who truly see you already know. Those who refuse to, never will. No matter what you say. One day, someone will bring up your past again, and you'll smile. Not in pride, not in pain, but in peace. Because you'll finally understand, I am not what happened to me. I am how I rose from it. So when they try to drag you back into an old chapter, look at them gently and say, "Thank you, but I've already finished that part of the story." Then walk away, calm, steady, untouchable. If this message speaks to your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Somewhere out there, someone is still trapped in their past, believing that their mistakes define them. Let this message reach them. Share it. Be the reason someone finds peace tonight. And if you're walking your own Stoic path, if you're learning to stay calm in a world that feeds on chaos, you're not alone. This space, this channel is built for minds like yours, people who seek calm, clarity, and quiet strength. So hit subscribe and join a community of calm minds and unbreakable spirits. Here we grow wiser, not louder. Here we learn the art of standing still when the world tries to shake us. And before you go, drop this in the comments as your reminder for today. I've closed that chapter. My story moves forward. Because you deserve peace, not perfection. You deserve to rise, not to explain. And your story, It's just beginning.